Commando Duck is certainly one of the more thought provoking and interesting to analyse Disney shorts about Donald Duck. This was released in 1944, obviously, we're at the height of the Second World War. And Donald Duck in this short is, in fact, I'll read the first line of the description on Wikipedia, and this says, Donald Duck parachutes into the jungle of a remote Pacific island to wipe out a Japanese airfield undetected. Needless to say, this is a bit bloodthirsty and not, well, it's civilized in the way it's presented, but the intention's not so much. It's not the most child-friendly, and to be honest, it's a lot more on the nose than I thought it would be with this kind of anti-Japanese approach. Obviously, product of its time, 1944, that makes sense for the audience at the time, but watching it now, it's they would never get away with anything like this now. With regards to the actual narrative, if I can call it that, you know, it's got a beginning, middle, and an end. It progresses well enough. There are no issues there for me. The animation style is quite nice, but the colour palette's quite dull, which is to be expected. You know, Donald's in kind of camouflage style clothing. Always interesting, of course, to see Donald in a different outfit to his usual t-shirt. There is a very peculiar scene involving some trees and arguably is quite racist. But again, product of its time. If you're in the middle of a war against certain countries, you are not going to produce any kind of art that looks at them favourably. So it's a really interesting piece of history, particularly looking at the American view towards the Japanese at the time, which makes perfect sense. However, if a child were to watch this today completely out of context and with no knowledge of what happened in the 1940s, maybe the wrong messages could be received. Ultimately, although I didn't enjoy watching it too much, I think it's one that's very interesting to analyse. And if you have any specific thoughts about it, I'd obviously love to hear them. It's not one I'm going to watch too frequently, but I think it had a message to deliver, and it delivered that message well, whether or not it should have done. Directed by Jack King, of course starring Clarence Nash as the voice of Donald. I don't love it. I don't hate it.